Hi everyone, my name is Layla. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is for those of you interested in getting a non-teaching job in South Korea. Think of this video as a 101 crash course where we will discuss the Korean market, foreign candidates, and the job search process. Let's talk about the overall economy. South Korea has achieved rapid growth in a very short period of time. The country is very competitive in various fields such as phones, semiconductors, automobile, chemicals, and steel making. In recent years, its cultural content, including music, gaming, and webtoons, is emerging as an essential industry in itself, taking the lead in the Korean economy. I am sure you have heard about BTS contributing to billions of dollars to the Korean economy. So, what are the best companies to work for in Korea? To find out which companies have the most satisfied employees in Korea, the German market research firm Statista has worked with the Korean Times to release Korea's Best Employers 2021 report. They evaluated 4,500 companies through an anonymous online survey of more than 10,500 employees. And this is the result. If you find a job in one of those companies, consider yourself lucky. And if you are looking for a job, you might want to make those companies a priority. According to Statistics Korea, the unemployment rate in the country is at about 4%. The most affected are qualified young people. The lack of suitable white-collar jobs makes the competition here very stiff, so know that you will have to compete against Korean people for the same jobs. And of course, you will have to make sure to stand out. So now let's talk about the ideal foreign candidate for white-collar jobs here in Korea. Please note that this does not apply to foreigners who already have a long-term visa that allows them to work here. A Korean company won't need to sponsor them, so their job search will be much easier. This is for those who require sponsorship. And in order to get a job in Korea and stay long-term, you will need to be sponsored by a company. That company needs to pay for the whole process, apply on your behalf, and prove to the Korean administration that a Korean isn't necessarily suitable for the position. The company also must have a certain number of Korean employees before they can onboard foreigners. If you fit all the criteria I'm about to enumerate, you have all the odds in your favor. Number one, you have a diploma, a bachelor's degree, preferably a master's degree. If it is from a very reputable university, then you get cool points. Number two, you have work experience in the related field you want to work in. The more experience you have, the better it is. Number three, the field you work in is in demand of foreigners or qualified talent. It could be in international trade, sales, engineering, etc. Number four, speaking English is no longer a hot commodity. Lots of Koreans already speak the language, so you kind of have to speak multiple languages, and Korean absolutely needs to be one of them. Even if you find a job that allows you to speak or use your mother tongue with customers, you will still be required to speak Korean with your coworkers. Internal communications or documents will also be in Korean. It is completely unrealistic to think that you can find a job here without speaking the language, unless you are some high C-level executive brought in to lead a foreign organization in Korea, or someone who's lucky. Be realistic. That is why my first advice to whoever wants to work and live here is to come to Korea, live here for a year, learn the language first before you get started. Let's now talk about where to go to look for a job. There are obviously Korean job boards and websites available. Unless you are great at Korean, I won't necessarily make those a priority at first. So let's talk about easier ways. You can look for jobs actively and passively. So let me explain. Let's talk about the active way with LinkedIn. What you need is a great profile, and it's very easy to set up. Then you go in the search section, you enter the job, the location, the type, the company, whatever it is that you are interested in. Try to be as broad as possible. That way you can narrow down the options that you get. You can also set up an alert, and every day LinkedIn will notify you of jobs that are available based on your criteria. I already have a job, so I am not actively looking right now, but I like to keep an eye on what's out there. I've worked for 6 years in products and software sales and management in corporate America. Hence, my interest is in account management, project management, and coordination. Whatever fields you are interested in, I am sure LinkedIn will have something for you. From what I see, 90% of the jobs are posted in English, Some clearly states Korean is required, others do not, but keep in mind that they are posting this for the Korean market, so they may be assuming that the candidate already speaks Korean. If Korean isn't clearly stated in the job description, just apply. You really have nothing to lose. You have the option to upload your resume and apply directly through LinkedIn. The process is so easy that you can literally apply for dozens of jobs daily. Cast your net wide and see what feedback you get from employers, if any. Now you might wonder, what resume should I use? Jobs you apply for on LinkedIn will need your English resume. However, you can have a Korean one just in case if it's required. And this is what a Korean resume looks like. The interesting thing I noticed is the picture that is required. The second part is listing the different jobs that you've had. Here, they like to keep things brief, so your job titles most likely would matter more. Then you have your language skills. Certifications are very important in Korea. It is so competitive out here that people find it to be the best way to stand out. Last but not least, you need to write a cover letter about who you are, why you want the job, etc. Another active way to search for jobs is to use the Seoul Global Center. You can easily find the website if you Google it. The site is a gem for whoever lives long-term in Korea. They offer tons of services, mostly free of charge. And obviously, you can also come here to look for a job and see what the different offerings are. Another active way to search for jobs in Korea is to look for your country's Chamber of Commerce. It is an organization helping entrepreneurs and companies from X country do business in Korea. So usually on their website, they will allow companies to post job openings. If your country does not have one, find a country where people speak the same language as you. So here we have the French Chamber of Commerce, for example. You can see job openings, you can attend events and do some networking, and they also offer guidelines on how to look for jobs here in Korea. Now, let's talk about passive ways of looking for jobs. You can submit your resume so people can contact you when something is available. Now, of course, I would not recommend that as your, primary strategy, but it's something that you can do on the side as well, just to, improve your chances. The Chamber of Commerce, for example, has that option. You can also Google recruiting companies and see if they have offices in Seoul. It is in their best interest to have a large pool of candidates, so most of them will allow candidates to upload their resume free of charge. Before I conclude this video, few things to keep in mind. On your resume, it is better to have a Korean address and a phone number. You will be taken more seriously if the employers know that you are already in the country. So I think that's kind of a no-brainer. This is why I recommend that you do your job search in Korea. That way you can experience life here, you can see if you like it, and you can also take the opportunity to learn Korean at a local university. Immigration-wise, it is easier to go from a student visa to a working visa as opposed to, let's say, a tourist visa to a working visa. Also, networking is very important in Korea. If you surround yourself with the right people, you can have access to great opportunities, and those opportunities could be work opportunities. Last but not least, just because the chances are slim does not mean it is impossible. Just be prepared, do your research, and be very strategic. Good luck, may the odds be ever in your favor. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to share your thoughts or have any questions, let's chat in the comment section. Bye!